Hello everyone, this is Anya at DecoToes. Welcome back. So today's video is going to be sort of a continuation of another video that I did. So I believe a couple weeks ago I did a video on how to wash your feet. And it's all related to the quarantine and the stay-at-homes and all of that. Obviously a lot of us are still doing that. So part B of this is, considering the fact that we spend so much time at home, it is like the perfect time for self-care. For all the women out there, but I guess also for men, it's a good time to take the time to kind of pause and relax and really take care of yourself, whatever that may be for you. For me, it actually started with taking care of my feet. And before I start the video, I'm going to tell you about something I did before I filmed this. So when we first heard that we were going to have to stay at home for 2 weeks, before all the extensions and all of that, I decided it would be a perfect time to do one of those exfoliating foot masks, which is basically like a plastic sock infused with things in it that make your skin peel off, basically. And it's a very long process, and I believe I've mentioned it in a previous video. In one of the boxes I got one of those peeling foot masks, so I did mention that it's really just obnoxious and annoying for me to do that, because the skin takes a while before it all peels off. And let me tell you, it was a lengthy process. I mean, I always start picking at it, because I do everything with my feet, so I can't really, just stick them in socks and let the skin do whatever it's doing on its own. So I kind of help it along. I moisturize a lot during that time. I also soak my feet a lot during that time to kind of speed up the process. So that was step one. And let me just say that it has made the biggest difference in my feet. This was the third time I've done a mask like this. And for some reason, this time was the time where it's been over a month now, and my feet are still looking the way they used to. Not the way they used to. The way they did right after I did the mask, I should say. Meaning they look good. I think I have mentioned maybe before in a video that I used to have really just a big problem with my heels cracking, and I'm not sure if it's because of the way I use my feet or what the cause of this is, but this exfoliating foot mask took care of that problem. I have not a single crack in my feet, and for the rest of the video I'll kind of talk about the maintenance and the upkeep that I do since I did that exfoliating foot masks. So keep watching, and I hope you enjoy it. So to begin the upkeep process, while your feet are still dry, and that is very important that the feet are dry, you take this file and you scrub all the dead skin off. And because I have problems with my left ankle, I've had surgeries on it, and just my left leg in general, I kind of had to figure out a way for me to hold it well. And as you can see, most of the movements I do are with my right foot always. So I just take the whole thing and just scrub all the bottom of my feet, starting with the heels to basically the whole foot, and just try to get as much of that dead dry skin as possible. After I'm done with that, I just kind of rinse it a little bit, get rid of that skin from it, kind of rinse my feet, and then I wash my feet really well after that. Now after my feet are clean, it's time to soak them. So I fill up my sink with warm water. I try to make it as warm as possible. And then I use these things. It's just for a foot soak. Just a bunch of these little beads that they melt in the water. And they smell really nice. It's a very nice citrusy scent. So you soak away for at least 15-20 minutes. Now after the skin is nice and softened up, I put this callus remover on the one spot on my foot. Because my left leg is just a little bit shorter than the right one, whenever I'm barefoot, I do use on my tippy toes on the left foot, and that just creates a harder spot on my foot right where you see me rubbing it in. So I leave that on for a few minutes, then rinse it off, and then I'm gonna go back with that file and kind of scrub that away, just to soften that callus up a little more. And next, we're not done with the scrubbing yet. Next, I'm gonna get a body scrub. It's actually a bunch of broken up seashells, I believe. It's I'm not sure where the brand is from, but I have gotten it from Poland. So I'm gonna just scoop some of that up and just keep exfoliating the feet, just making sure that they are nice and smooth before I continue. And because I did have some clear nail polish on, I'm just gonna take some pure acetone and just take that off before I get to taking care of the nails and filing them and all of that fun stuff. Next up, I get all the tools ready. So you take one file, one is a little more mild, the other one is very coarse. And then I take this tool, which I'm not even sure what it's called, but I use it for my cuticles and other things. And the last one is also for the cuticles. And before I begin the whole process, I do always make sure that I open one of them up before I put something else on my feet. And the thing I'm going to be putting on right now is actually a cuticle remover. It kind of softens them up and makes it easier for you to get rid of all that excess. So as I did with the first one, I kind of put it on the edge of the sink and squeeze the bottle this way because it's too thick for me to just hold it up in one foot and do it that way. And I just put a dab of it on each nail to begin with. So now I take my little tool and I kind of make sure that the product is kind of spread all around the cuticles around my nail. And then I start pushing the cuticle down away from my nail to make sure that there is none stuck to the nail itself before I start getting rid of the cuticles and kind of cutting away with the tool that you're gonna see, just making sure that there is no dead cuticles around my nails and that they're all nice and clean. Next, I take the other end of the same tool and I kind of run it across my cuticle. To be honest, I'm not really sure why I do that, but I feel like it helps just to get any of the cuticle and also a little bit of the product off of the nail. And then I actually rinsed my feet before I did this part, and I kind of cut the extra excess cuticles off with this little tool, which to be honest I'm not even sure what it's called. And then after all of that is done, I clean my nails underneath, again using the same tool. I feel like this tool is such a multi-purpose tool that I really use it for a lot of things. As you can see here, my nails are kind of long and just just as a side note, I do like to keep my toenails longer. As you can see right here. I don't think usually people keep their toenails that long. I think my brain kind of sees my feet as my hands. So it's really hard to explain, but to be honest with you, sometimes it feels like I'm walking with my hands attached to my legs, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I just mostly use my feet for things that hands usually do. So I feel like the longer nails just kind of make my toes look longer, and you know, for painting them it just is easier to do that because I'm not getting the nail polish all over my toe. So for that reason I do that, and I usually try to save my longer nails for as long as I can. And this one that I'm following right here was actually broken at the time, and like the whole white tip of it broke off. And so what I did, I really didn't want to lose the nail, so I put a band-aid over it at night, and then the next day I ended up painting over it. And because I used the no chip and I cured them under a UV light, it has been holding up for like over a week now, and it still didn't break, so yay for that. But I basically go and just make sure I even them out a little bit, make sure there's no rough edges on the nails, so they're nice and filed. And I don't ever clip my toenails, I always just use a file and just even them out. And if I see any remaining cuticles, I just go back and fix those. And then after everything is done, these are foot masks, and again it's like a plastic sock infused with things, but this one does not peel the skin off. This is just for moisturizing. That's all I use it for, and that's all it's meant to be used for. So there is a strap that you're supposed to tape around your ankle, but I don't do that. I just slide a sock over it. And of course the first sock is easier to put on than the next one after I already have my other foot stuck in a sock, or technically two socks. But I manage, I kind of hold it against something. As you can see, I'm kind of pinching it against the sink so I can slide my other foot in there. Kind of have to use whatever you can, basically, like right here using the faucet to really make sure I get my foot all the way in there. And then the other sock was a little bit tricky, but it wasn't too bad because it actually slid over the foot mask quite easily because it was slippery because of the plastic, so that wasn't too bad. Alright, and then you let them sit for 15-20 minutes. Sometimes I keep them on longer. And then when they're all ready, you take the socks off. Took those foot masks off, there was actually a lot of product. I didn't want to waste it or wash it off because it is so moisturizing, so I ended up rubbing this in. But what you're seeing right here is a picture of a foot cream that I've been using lately, and normally I would put that on after the whole process of soaking and scrubbing feet. And I use that on every single night, and it's been just doing wonderfully. But I ended up rubbing this one in. There was a lot of product on my feet, but just rubbed it in. There you go. Nice and moisturized and clean and soft and smooth feet, which is just the way you want them to be. And to avoid rubbing it off in my sheets, I put these socks on, and this is what I've been using generally, because I can still use my toes in these. But what I'm showing you right here is a picture of socks that I got recently, and those actually have gel lining inside, which were great, and my toes are more free than in these ones. So that just worked so great. I love the blue socks. I've been putting them on every single night since I got them. And then just using my socks to open them because my feet were so slippery. I couldn't open this. But this is basically cuticle oil. So I'm just going to put that on each of my toes and then rub it in. That pretty much completes the process. Everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope that some of you are going to give these steps a try. They are truly worth it and they make such a difference. I feel like for me personally, I have to do each of these steps quite regularly, if not every week, then every other week, to kind of maintain the way my feet look. And it is especially important for me when I do use my feet for everything. So foot care is extremely important in my case. But then again, summer is coming soon, so get those feet ready, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.